That's right. Some schools are changing their bullying numbers because of our questions. Now, schools are required to report bullying incidents to the State Department of Education. Every one of these numbers, that's a bullied student. This law has been in place since 2013, yet we found some schools missing the mark. Bullying is a buzzword in Indiana schools. Hallways and district websites are covered with materials on bullying, which is why we were shocked to find 6 out of 10 Indiana schools did not report a single bullying incident this past school year, and 14% of schools have not reported any bullying since the law took effect 3 years ago. Fairland mom Angie Staggy pushed lawmakers to pass the legislation after her daughter was tormented.
They told her to go kill herself, hang herself. They beat her up in the bathroom.
We showed Staggy all the zeros we found.
This is really disheartening to me. We are really letting our kids down.
Staggy says the idea behind the law was for schools and the state to track how often students are bullied and prevent it from happening.
Is this what you had in mind?
This is not what I had in mind.
Amanda Snap and Tammy Dyson both say their children were victims of repeated bullying within the Perry Township school system.
They threatened to kill her.
Bullying, they say they reported to school officials.
There was stuff that happened on the school bus almost every day.
Perry Township reported 0 bullying incidents at Southport High School last school year. That's when Tammy says her daughter was bullied. Southport Middle School reported 0 bullying during the 2015-2016 school year, when Amanda says her son was bullied.
Are these numbers correct?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Nope.
Dyson says the taunting got so bad she filed this police report.
It's like a real kick in the face. It really is.
We requested an on-camera interview with the district, but they declined, sending us this written statement. We wanted to talk to the superintendent.
I was wondering if we could take just a couple of minutes to talk about the bullying numbers.
So we showed up before a public school board meeting.
Some parents are saying these numbers just aren't accurate. What's your response to that?
Well, the numbers were reported by the building administrators who would be in those buildings investigating those.
Superintendent Pat Mapes emphasizes Perry Township's numbers reported to the state are substantiated bullying cases.
So just because a student reports that they've been bullying does not necessarily mean that that number would be reported to the state.
If it didn't meet the definition of bullying.
The state's definition of bullying says it has to be repeated with the intent to harass, ridicule, humiliate, intimidate, or harm the targeted student and create a hostile school environment.
We have students who kind of monitor this and help solve resolutions and conflict resolutions that's working. And obviously some of our numbers prove that it works.
We thanked Mapes for talking to us and started to leave.
You're more than welcome to set up an appointment time instead of just rushing in.
But we had tried to set up an appointment in a September 14th email to Superintendent Mapes and the district's communications director.
The email I sent said, in lieu of an interview, please accept our statement.
Right, but we think this is something that he needs to answer these questions about. I don't think the statement answered those questions. That's why we're here. He answered the questions.
Great way to do it.
Bottom line, Perry Township stands behind its numbers.
Can we hop upstairs for a second?
I'm going to run a board meeting here, so she can go upstairs.
We didn't go upstairs. We stayed for the board meeting and later sat down with Indianapolis Public Schools, one of several districts we found misreported its bullying numbers to the state. We found 2/3 of IPS schools reported 0 bullying last school year, and George Washington High didn't report any bullying over the past 3 years.
What happened?
It was an oversight, a very unfortunate oversight. We hate that it happened. We regret that it happened, but we own it.
District spokeswoman Carrie Black says IPS has been recording bullying incidents at the school level.
This was an upload error in what was being sent to the state.
After our inquiries, IPS updated its bullying figures to numbers they say are accurate, 689 incidents last school year. The district has also improved its procedures to make sure they report bullying accurately moving forward.
We do want to make sure that we get it right.
Parents of bullied teens say they want schools to take it seriously and report when students are bullied.
Make your kids feel safe in the schools.
But after seeing a sea of zeros, they're left to wonder if the anti-bullying law is having any impact at all.
This is bad.
Get this, there's no punishment for districts who break the law, even though the state uses these numbers to figure out what's happening in our schools. Tonight on the news at 11, we asked the state why their data was missing some important pieces. Kara Kenney, RTV6.
Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenney working for you with what you need to do to protect yourself.
We're here in this busy shopping center parking lot handing out these cards we made up that explain how to tell if your vehicle has an unfixed recall. The numbers aren't pretty. 1 out of every 4 cars on the road has an unfixed recall. And when we headed out into this parking lot, we were shocked by what we found. Nope, on that. On a very windy spring day, XZJ Call 6 Investigates is running down recalls. Hi. Here's what we did, and you can do it too. Using the free My Carfax app, we plug in license plates and up pop unfixed recalls, some potentially dangerous defects.
Did you know you had an open recall on your vehicle?
No, I did not.
Dana Bernard's Honda CR-V has 2 open recalls for Takata airbag inflator problems.
Have you gotten any recall notices or anything?
No, I have not.
Many people simply don't know. It's easy to skip over a postcard or an email.
Were you aware that you have an open recall on your vehicle?
No.
Sherry Spencer's car has an unfixed shift lever that can increase the risk of crashing.
Do you know you have an open recall on your vehicle?
Honestly, I can't remember. It's been a while. It was like, I think I got it during the time it was winter time and I didn't go. I didn't have time to go get it done. So I know that's bad.
She's not alone. This mom told me she hasn't gotten the recall on her minivan fixed because she doesn't have time. Workers at Ed Martin Automotive say it's a misconception that getting a recall fixed will take forever. A technician fixed this door panel recall in under 5 minutes.
And put the screws back in. It's as simple as that.
Another misconception is getting your recall fixed will cost you money.
And it costs you nothing to do that.
Manufacturers have to provide you with a fix for free. The problem, according to Ed Martin's general manager, Todd Rieselman, is when consumers get a recall notice, but the fix is not available just yet. Todd recommends calling your dealer before bringing it in.
We can look up their VIN and tell them, yeah, let's schedule, let's bring it in because we can fix it, or, hey, it's just a notice. It's not available yet, so that people aren't wasting their time.
Did you know you have an open recall on your vehicle?
When we asked Michael Sutz about his airbag recall, he knew about it. He's just waiting on the fix.
They're working on getting the airbags.
According to J.D. Power, more than 600,000 cars in Indiana sold in the last 3 years have open recalls on them. Bottom line is, not every recall is life-threatening, but many are dangerous defects, and that's why it's important to address an open recall on your vehicle.
We put these together for you.
Okay.
And it actually shows what you need to do if you've got a recall on your vehicle.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
We handed out cards and high fives in the hopes of helping you hit the road safely.
Hopefully you can get it taken care of.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Checking a recall is fast and free. Just go to safercar.gov and put in your VIN. You can also go to the My Carfax app and put in your license plate. Now, if a recall pops up, just contact your dealer or the manufacturer and see if you need to bring your car in. Reporting from Avon, I'm Call 6 Investigates, Kara Kenney.
Working for you tonight, Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenney takes a look at how some victims are trying to shine a light on the problem.
Clay was the type of person that he didn't know a stranger. He liked everyone.
Clay Myers was a 21-year-old college student living with his parents in Laurel, Indiana. One night in 2013, Clay went out with his friend Jared Seal.
When the sheriff knocked on the door, he told us about 4 o'clock in the morning that Clay was in an accident. He didn't survive that accident.
The driver, Jared Seal, was drunk, twice the legal limit.
It's the hardest thing a parent can go through, is to hear that your son's not coming back home.
Seal was sentenced to 8 years in prison, with 2 suspended.
He was supposed to serve 6 years.
But Seal didn't serve 6 years or 3 like Amy expected. After 13 months, Amy got a text notification from the Indiana Department of Correction that Seal had already been released from prison.
We were shocked, hurt.
Call 6 Investigates did some checking and found Seal pleaded guilty in 2014 as part of an open plea or mercy plea, meaning the judge can later change the sentence. In 2015, the judge denied motions from Seal's attorney to modify his sentence. But in 2016, with no hearing or heads up, the judge issued this order on January 7th, releasing Seal from prison and ordering him to report to probation. Amy Myers didn't find out until Seal was already out.
It's sad. It's insulting to us.
Our system does have flaws in it, there's no question.
Longtime Franklin County prosecutor Mel Wilhelm says his office makes an effort to update victims, but judges can change sentences without notice.
This is not the first time where we've seen a modification. When the order came down, I go, oh, he let so-and-so go.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving Lael Hill says crime victims need time to mentally and physically prepare for their perpetrator's release.
We need to do whatever we can to give the victim a minimum of 10 days notice of the early release of the offender.
Jared Seal has his license back. He declined to talk to us.
He's working, he's sober, he's still reporting to probation regularly, he's going to school.
His Brookville attorney, Judd McMillan, isn't sure reform is needed. Sometimes people need
notification, sometimes they don't, but the best person to make that decision is the judge who has heard the facts in that case.
On the winding road where Clay Myers' life came to an end, a plaque reminds people not to drink and drive. His mom, Amy, also keeps his memory alive by shining a light on the issue and pushing lawmakers for better notification requirements so that other victims aren't kept in the dark. Kara Kenney, RTV6.
That's right. We hear from a lot of you about problems with your cars, problems with car dealerships, problems with safety recalls. In fact, one driver contacted me saying he has $15,000 just stuck in red tape.
Automotive giant Volkswagen agreed to pay $20 billion for using cheating software to pass emissions tests. Part of that settlement is to compensate Volkswagen owners. Douglas Chereau is one of them.
This is a 2010 Jetta Sport Wagon, turbo diesel injected.
After hearing about the emissions scandal, Doug filed paperwork back in December to do a buyback.
I didn't want to drive a polluting car.
He wants to take the car to a dealership and get money back.
I completed it online, and that's when the problem really began, because I ended up with 2 claim numbers, and the rest has just been very, very frustrating.
Dozens of documents and phone calls later, still no word from Volkswagen on where to take his car for the buyback.
I've lost sleep over it. I feel very stressed by it, and I'm just absolutely frustrated.
You're at your wit's end.
I really am, and that's why I'm calling you to help.
We reached out to Volkswagen and sent them Doug's documentation.
I'm just hoping that with your help, we'll end up getting a check one of these days.
Shortly after Call 6 Investigates got involved, Doug got his answer. On April 6, he dropped off his car at a dealership and 4 days later got more than $15,000 in his account.
How does that feel?
Like I've had a 10,000-pound weight lifted off of my shoulders.
More like a 15,000-pound weight.
Right, exactly.
Volkswagen told us they've extended offers to more than half of their impacted customers. This program is unprecedented in terms of its size and scope, and we have hired approximately 1,300 contract employees to help accommodate demand. We know that there have been some issues along the way, and our teams have been working tirelessly to make necessary adjustments and continually improve the process. Doug credits Call 6 Investigates for moving things forward.
They mind you guys.
Doug's glad to have another car to drive now and for his 6-month nightmare to finally be over.
We're so glad that you finally got some resolution and RTV6 was able to get you your money back and your car where it needed to be.
Exactly, and I'm so appreciative, so thank you very much.
And consumers have until May of 2018 to decide whether they want to do a buyback or have their vehicle fixed. Now, if you have a complaint about your vehicle's manufacturer, you can file a complaint with the federal government on the Safer Car app. We're live downtown. I'm Call 6 Investigates, Kara Kenney.